Hello, this is RADACAD from RADACAD. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to do fuzzy grouping within Power BI using Power Query, which means if you have text values that are not matching, like these two or these two or this, and then you want to group them based on a similarity threshold, get an outcome like this. Let's see how this is possible. I have previously explained about what the fuzzy merge or fuzzy matching is. There's a link to that blog post and video down in the description below. Go and check it out. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about fuzzy grouping. So explaining that requirement one more time. Let's say I have a table like this. As you can see, this table has ID and name of the people and also the department. Now, this is not a really clean data. So I have department like information technology, but also informatica technologica, management like that, but it is also written in two other ways, sales with S and sale without the S. So if I want to group these information by the department, what I would get would be something like this. I would get one group for every one of those values because I have 7 different department values. And this is not what I'm after. I'm after to group these two, for example, together, these two together, and the remaining 3 together. This type of grouping cannot be done by the normal group by, because normal group by only takes exact matching into the consideration. We have to do fuzzy grouping. And how we can do the fuzzy grouping? In the same place that you do the normal group by, which means right click on the columns you want, then choose group by, you can do this. But before doing that, one important thing, at the time of creating this video, this option is only available in Power Query online, which means Dataflow. Later, definitely it will be available in Power BI Desktop or Excel and other places as well. But at the moment, to create that, you have to be in Power BI service or Power Platform environment. Let's say, create a new Dataflow, then either use an existing table or add a new table, which will bring you the get data experience that you can connect to a data source. Now I have done that process. I already connected to my data source. This is my data source. When I right click on that column in the table and I say group by, I will see this option called use fuzzy grouping. When I click on that, and that's basically it. When I check that option, this means that it will try to find similarity between these based on an algorithm. When I click on it, the result comes as this. So I have 3 groups: information technology, those 2 items in that, management and sales. Management has those 3 items in it. So how does it work? Fuzzy grouping uses an algorithm called Jacquard index behind the scene. You can learn more about it using the link down in the description below, how that algorithm works and how it finds the similarity between items. Based on that, it will find similarity between 2 items. The default similarity threshold is what you can see in the fuzzy group options. When you click on this, you'll get fuzzy group options, which has a lot of options such as similarity threshold. This means 80% those 2 values are similar. If you set it as 1, that of course means that exactly similar, which would be normal to exact matching. So this would return 7 groups. If I reduce it, more values will match together. You see, this is for 1. You can also change it in the MS script here as well as changing it in that setting. For example, I can change it to 92.92, let's say, and this will give me similarity on some of the items, but not all the items. I'm just waiting for this to finish the result so that I can show it to you. One of the things that you have to be careful is that fuzzy grouping is slow. You can see, and this is only on 7 rows of data. The reason that it is slow is that it is getting every single text value, comparing it with every other text value, calculating the similarity threshold of that, and when it calculates it, similarity of that, then it checks it with the threshold. If it matches that threshold, it groups them together. It's a very time-consuming process. I would definitely suggest, if you are doing it on a table with many data rows, and that many data rows might not be even a million, it might be thousands or tens of thousands, I would strongly suggest to first make sure that you do the normal grouping, then you do the fuzzy grouping. So here you can see, based on the threshold of 0.92, I get, for example, 2 of those management text matching, but not this one. I need to bring that threshold a little bit down. So you have to play with this and change these. These settings are not really complicated to work with. One of them is, do you want to ignore the capital case, lowercase, and do you want to ignore spaces, things like that. Similarity score can be viewed not in group by view, but mostly in the in something such as merge. I have explained about how to do fuzzy matching or merge as well. Now I have done another grouping, which in this one I also brought the table so that you can see what it means actually. Here I have the table that is these 3 different records with the management as part of it, and this table will show those text values. To add that table, you can, in your grouping, go to the advanced grouping and add all columns or all table. That will give you a sub table for matching for that particular row entry. Now this is going to take some time. While this is getting some time, the last option in the fuzzy grouping is something called transformation table. Here the transformation table is useful just in case you have some mapping table already, which means, for example, in your mapping table, now this is going to take some time, I'm going to go back to the previous data set. In your mapping table, let's say I have this information. In my mapping table, I say this will map to information technology, this will map to management. So I actually hard code map these together. Then I will use that when I say I want to do fuzzy grouping. I say do it based on this transformation table, and that has to be another query in your data set. So basically it's like first merging them, then grouping them together, which can be more efficient, especially if you have many data rows. You don't want to do fuzzy matching for each of those. So fuzzy matching, fuzzy grouping is pretty straightforward process. It is using a function called table.fuzzygroup. If you are interested in aspects of it, this function has some parameters very similar to what we set in that graphical interface, and you can set it either here or you can set it using the graphical interface. Very useful things to consider, but always remember that it comes as a cost of a performance. I would definitely suggest to have a process defined so that you don't get dirty data into this step. Before that, you'll handle it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe into our YouTube channel. We have weekly videos on Power BI. Thank you.